What's up, guys? It's Brandon Flash. Today we're here with my Rivian R1T, and we're going to be going into every nook and cranny on this truck, kind of see how I have it organized, some of the things I carry with me on a daily basis, because I spend quite a bit of time on the road, and I like to be prepared. So let's get started. So this is my 2022 Rivian R1T. I purchased it in September of 2022. It's now April 2023. Some of you corrected in the last video that I misspoke and said 2022 of April. But here we have everything open. Let's just talk about some of the different storage options we have here as we walk around. So we of course have the pickup bed because it is of course a pickup. So I do have some stuff back here. We'll go into the bin, into the spare tire well, things like that. We also have the gear tunnel, and the gear tunnel actually goes all the way through, as you can see there. Pretty unique thing to the Rivian R1T. Not even the Rivian R1S has that. We also have a front trunk, of course, because it's an EV. One of the cool things about EV, even though not every EV has it. And then we also even have an under front trunk. We'll go into that as well. We have a little bit of a cubby up here. We've got the center console, and we even have, gotta watch your leg here, these are kind of sharp. If you fold that up, even got space underneath the rear seat there. So let's start from the front. We're gonna go into the front trunk, and I'll show you all the things that I have in here. So here we have collapsible bin. I did just organize the truck quite a bit, so this is just a little bin that I like to keep in here. Helps keep things organized if I need to carry littler things, or if I need just a better way to carry things into my apartment. Got some umbrellas because it likes to rain here in the southeast. And then this is a 3D mats mat. I did a whole video about those if you want to check that out. That's not ideal to do this one-handed. So here we have a sunshade for the roof glass. We've got a trailer hitch here, adjustable with a, I believe, 2-inch and whatever the one slightly bigger than that is as well. We have a Tesla mobile connector in here with the NEMA 515. Here we have a Tesla mobile connector bag with a whole bunch of adapters, probably more than any normal person will ever need. I think I've done a whole video on these specifically, but let me just pull this out and we can go in depth. So random fuses that have just been in there a while. We have NEMA 520. We have NEMA 1450, NEMA 650. That's used for like welder outlets. This is kind of the most common, campgrounds, things like that. This is for 20 amp, 120 volt outlets. Then we have NEMA, this is a 1030, so older dryer outlets you'll find at kind of older homes, things like that, prior to 1996. Here we have a NEMA 1430, so this is very similar to the NEMA 1450. It adds a neutral, and this is used for dryers after 1996. NEMA 1450 for a Gen 1 mobile connector that I have in my apartment, so that's just living in here. And I also have some Tesla to J1772 to Tesla adapters. Not really that necessary for a Rivian, but I have them nonetheless. This is a little thing that if you don't know what you're doing with it, you shouldn't use, but it's a NEMA 515 to 520. So if you have a 20 amp circuit on a normal wall outlet, but it's not using a 20 amp 520 outlet, you can actually pull the 16 amps by using this with this outlet here, the 620, that allows you to pull 16 amps. So those are some of the adapters I've got in there. All right, and here we have how I actually use that Tesla mobile connector with my Rivian. This is an Electron adapter. I'll leave a link here. I've also made some videos about this specifically. So it takes your Tesla wall connector, mobile connector, whatever, not Tesla supercharger, and makes it into J1772. So that's how you can plug it into a Rivian. Of course, Gen 2 mobile connector to go with all those adapters. We have the Rivian mobile connector down there with the NEMA 515 normal wall outlet and NEMA 1450 adapters. I've never actually used it. Here we have front plate bracket that I'm not using. It just kind of lives there. 2 tire plug kits, think I got a 2-pack, or I forgot I had one, something like that, which is how I ended up with 2. Long acre tire pressure gauge, totally overkill for most people, but I had it back from my kind of racing track days, so still use it. Very nice tire pressure gauge, and especially useful because the Rivian onboard compressor gauge is not that accurate, but is still very handy. So I use it. I just take it with a grain of salt that it's not going to be the most accurate. Fold this back down. Not sure how so much air ended up in that. There we go. Fold that. And then up here, you'll see that we have some magnets on the holding points for that sub-frunk floor. So these are very strong. I had to put quite a bit of force there. And this allows you to actually secure things because you've got these spots up here for that basket that I showed. But there's otherwise not really a way to secure things up here. So pretty handy. I did go over those in my accessory video, and I'll be doing another accessory video pretty soon here talking about kind of some of the newer things. My Rivian does have a 12-volt outlet up here, but the new ones do not. But that's the front trunk. And now we're going to go into the cabin. All right, moving into the main cabin. I try to keep this kind of as clutter-free as possible. I mean, within reason. Got my door pocket here, so I've got a microfiber cloth. Got some light gloves. I have a detailing brush, some lens cleaner, nothing too crazy here. This is a little flip-out extra cup holder that I might use on road trips. Just flip it out to the outside. We have the 3D mats. Mats, definitely check out the video I made. There is a discount code on that video as well if you're interested in these. Here we have, I believe it's Best EV Mod is the brand. I'll try to include a link for this as well. It's a little organizer tray that makes things not slide around as much. Extra sunglasses, disinfectant hand wipes, always handy. Got a little reusable bag, water bottle, that's kind of just where those end up. And a Mach-E toy car that I meant to give to a friend of mine, but just haven't gotten around to it yet. This is the organizer tray from T-Wraps. So I have a little multi-tool here in a case, some coins. We've got the little holder piece for the crossbars on the mounting bracket, key for my crossbars, some mints, a little thingy that goes on the rear back seat hooks, cleaning cloths, and business cards, nothing crazy in there. Got my toll pass, a little MagSafe that I usually use for my AirPods. Underneath there is just some random junk, so I'm not even going to show that. It's not worth showing. Here we have my rear underseat storage. That's just something I need to return to Amazon. We've got another Tesla adapter. We have Rivigear jack pad adapters. I'll again go over these in another accessories video more specifically of why you should have these. But there you have them. Little container of accessories for my radar detector, some phone and iPad mounts. Bin of kind of random stuff, I would describe it as. Just kind of things I like to keep in the truck but don't necessarily need on a regular basis. I've got some plastic bags, things like that in the rear seat compartments. Nothing in these back here because otherwise they'll end up rattling. And then we're going to move to the gear tunnel. And moving on to the gear tunnel, we're on the driver's side of the truck here. I have a Tesla to CCS to Tesla adapter. I sometimes use that for testing things. We have the Rivian included air compressor hose in there, nothing abnormal there. Here we have some bins. I got these at Costco. They fit pretty well, I'd say. This is my drone bag, or drone bin, I should say. It has my Mavic Air 2 in it. Really should probably get a Pelican case or something for that rather than just having the drone in a bag in a bin. This is my bin of EV fast charger commissioning stuff, I would describe it as. Multimeter, some tools, rain suit, tape, just like kind of random things that I'll need as I'm commissioning new chargers. Zip ties if I need to put things off to the side. Whatever, kind of quick access, which is always good. Here we have just a bin of straps because it's a truck. You never know when you might need those. Set this here for right now. Get it out of the way. So just ratcheting straps because you never know when you might need to secure things in the bed or wherever. I have a short extension cord actually going across the truck to the 120 volt outlet that's only on the passenger side. So that way I can either have power on this side if needed and even pull it out a little bit, or I can just unplug it and still have it over there. Here we have in the middle of the gear tunnel, not the easiest to access, multiple EVSEs, or portable chargers as most people would call them. This is completely unnecessary for most people, but because I'm a nerd and a YouTuber, I have lots of things that most people wouldn't have or need. Here we have a Tesla extension cable, so I need to do some testing of this. And with the J1772 adapter and this Tesla to J1772 adapter, I can use this to extend J1772 or Tesla wall connector or mobile connector connections. Here we have another Tesla or CCS to Tesla adapter. This is the Electron version. I'm going to have another video coming that I show all of this kind of more in depth. That is that kit. Here we have a Pion Power mobile EVSE. This one I just got in the mail, haven't had a chance to really test it yet. It's actually pretty nicely built. But you can see it has NEMA 515, NEMA 1450, pretty nice handle, fairly compact unit itself, and it is dual voltage, of course, with the two different things. Really nice carrying case. It's actually kind of hard-sided almost, so you can see it doesn't crush there. And down here we have the J Plus Booster 2. Let's pull that right here. And we have a ton of adapters in here. So this is kind of my workhorse of portable EVSEs. The Tesla mobile connector is obviously cheaper and probably better for most people, but this thing is just an absolute tank. Like, I would put this out in torrential downpour and not worry about it at all. We have a bunch of adapters, so NEMA 1450, TT30, which this doesn't exist for really any other mobile EVSEs, so that's pretty handy for campgrounds. We have NEMA 620, I believe this is, or 615, one of the two, 515, and we have, this is 650, and this adjusts just by pressing the buttons to varying current or automatically with the different adapters. Pretty pricey unit. I believe this is $799 for the unit itself, and the adapters are like $100 each, so not a cheap unit, but fortunately, being in this industry, companies just send me things, so glad to have it. And if you have a specific use case for it, I do recommend it. It's a great unit, but definitely on the pricier side. Here we have an axe, because you never know when you might need an axe. And then I also have a sunshade for the windshield, just kind of a universal one I've had for quite a while. And then we're going to move to the other side after I put all this back. And I put all of that back here on the driver's side of the gear tunnel. We'll come back to the bed area in just one moment. Let's circle back to the passenger side of the gear tunnel. So here I have another one of those collapsible bins like I showed in the front trunk. We've got a bunch of detailing supplies. So I have everything from waterless wash to bug remover to glass cleaner, to wheel cleaner, to water spot remover, to ceramic coating. I do have a pack of Costco microfiber towels. I've got some one-time use gloves. So that's kind of my go-to. So after I run it through a touchless car wash, I'll just reach into that bin, or even sometimes before with things like the bug cleaner, and just spray off the front end. That way I can keep the truck looking clean. Right now it's a little bit dirty, but I'd say clean by normal people standards. I'm just very particular about keeping my truck very clean. And we'll go back to the bed here. You'll notice I did put the crossbars on for right now. A few different reasons, mostly because I wanted to put the bed or the bin back there, and putting it against the crossbars pushed it out a bit too far that it would block the access to the spare, which was not ideal. So let's just kind of go over what we have here, and then I'll move some stuff so we can kind of dig into it a little bit more. Here we have a tent that I will be using a fair bit in the next couple weeks here for various things. So it just exists there for right now. We got a moving blanket that that's good to have in a truck. You never know when you might need it. So we're going to slide this out of the way. And then we're going to unstrap my bin. So I actually have it strapped to the crossbar holders. Got to be careful with these bungee cords. And I have a board there, so that way it doesn't get as crushed. And also because I had this board in my bed anyway, and I wanted it to stop sliding around. So let's slide this out, and I'll open it up and we'll go through what's in it. So this bin, it was roughly $40 at Cabela's. I looked quite a bit online. It's 108 quart capacity. Not the sturdiest bin, but it does the job, keeps things at least mostly out of the elements. That way I can run through car washes, things like that, and not worry if there's a little bit of water that comes into the bed through the tonneau cover. So I have a lot of kind of random stuff that I really probably should go through and get rid of some stuff in here, but I'm going to show you guys anyway. So another Tesla bag. This one has a broken zipper, has a tow strap in it. We have a TT30 to NEMA 1450. You'll have to manually adjust with that. Some cones here. We've got a heat gun. We've got an extension cord. We've got a 1 1/4 inch to 2 inch adapter. We have a snow squeegee of sorts with the scraper end here. We have a couple different tool kits, so different bits like e-torques, security torques, things like that. We have an OBD scanner. This doesn't work with Rivian, but I keep it in here because you never know if someone else might need it. Craftsman mechanics toolkit, so full socket set kind of. Inverter, not really that needed with the Rivian. Here we have some more of those magnets like I have in the front trunk. We've got a fire extinguisher, though hopefully I never need that. And if I need that in the Rivian, well, I don't think I'll ever need that in the Rivian. We have much bigger problems if that's the case. We have another tow hitch here. So this is a 3-sided one that I've never actually used. We have a, I believe, 2-ton aluminum racing jack buried in there. So that's handy if I ever need it, because the jack that comes with the spare tire kit is kind of terrible and super sketchy to use. And that's pretty much everything in here aside from just random stuff that really shouldn't be in here anyway. Got some more bungee cords, some plate frames that, I really should get rid of some things in here, but I just haven't gotten around to it. So when I organized my truck yesterday, some of the things that didn't have better homes just kind of ended up in here for now. So let's close this up, and then I'll show you underneath the bed in the spare tire wall, and we'll wrap this up. I've got the bin back in place, so you'll see that it ends just before this panel does. Did have to move the moving blanket in the tent, but that's fine. So we'll pop this here, just like that, and then you do have to give it a little bit of a help to get it to raise usually. There we go. Haven't opened in a little while. Bed is unusually dirty right now. Here we have a tarp that I use for just random things transporting in the trunk or in the bed. We have the gear guard cable. Pretty handy. If you're familiar with Rivian, you've probably seen that before. I have a 50-foot, or actually I think 2 50-foot extension cords in here. We've got the spare tire kit, and we have the 34-inch, 20-inch all-terrain spare. So very handy to have that. Sometimes I do wish that I had the storage under here instead, but I think it's worth the peace of mind to have the spare, especially with kind of some of the crazy trips I do and just not having to worry about it. I have had to use it once already, as you saw in a previous video when I first got it. Had like 1,100 miles on the truck when I first used it, which is not ideal, I'd say, but things happen. And let me just button this back up. We'll wrap this up. But now you guys have seen everything that I carry in my Rivian R1T. Whether you think I'm a crazy hoarder for having all this stuff in my trunk, or you think that some of the things I carry are a good idea, love to hear it. Comment down below. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you guys for watching.